Rightio, I'm here at Durham Park. Might be a take two, but we won't tell too many people, will we, Jamie?
No.
Apparently you've got to push all the buttons. We're here to I suppose, highlight the 15 yearlings you've got going through the APG draft, APG sale, sorry, your draft of horses at the Oaklands Junction on Sunday week, Sunday the 6th of February. Sale commences at 11 o'clock. You've got 15 lots. You had 16 gazetted, one's been pulled out, but other than that, you've got 15 lots ready to go for the sale.
Yep, 12 colts, 3 fillies ready to go.
Enjoying it?
Yep, really happy with all of them. It's been a good season. We've had green grass up until about 3 weeks ago, which has definitely helped, and it's probably the best looking bunch that we've sent to a sale for a little while. So,
one thing, it's probably lucky we are having a take two. The guys are just here bringing horses in and out of the paddock, and I want to highlight that. I think you and I have done a couple of things about how you're doing, but predominantly your yearlings are still out in the paddock for a vast majority of the time. They come in and get fed, brushed, walked, looked after, but effectively they're still out in the paddocks, which I think is key, and it'll be key when people take them from there, because they're not, like a lot of people box them for a long period of time. Yours won't be that way.
No, we've started boxing them overnight over probably the last 10 to 12 days, and they'll come in overnight up now until the sales, but we try and get them out during the day. They go out in their specific groups of 6 that they've been in with their mates.
So even when they go out in the paddocks, they're still out in groups of 6?
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah. I don't know, personally, I find that you start separating them and isolating them and treating them different. That's when they really realise that they're colts and start acting different.
Yeah. But so they're just the boys, they're in their own group and they're happy? Yeah,
they're happy. They have a little play and they predominantly sleep, actually, to be honest. You see them have a little play fight and whatever, but no one gets hurt, and predominantly they're all sleeping as a little pack. So,
you and I have done a couple of things together, and this is effectively Bruce's grand final. This is where it's make or break in a way for what he's put on paper, to do for the season, and the results will say that it was a success or not. Do you enjoy it? And do you enjoy this sort of the build up for this last week? Like, is it a bit stressful?
Well, in previous years, I've been pretty stressed out come this time of the year, because anyone that runs a farm understands that things go wrong, and you can have bad seasons and you can have good seasons, and we've had a tough couple of seasons the past few years, but this year is probably our best season, so I'm a bit more chilled out about it this year, to be honest, because I'm a lot more confident in the horses that we're presenting. Yep,
so you're comfortable and which is good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll still be sad when the truck drives down. Will we get another photo on social media with the truck going out
Definitely.
the gate? Definitely. I look forward to it. Definitely. I will. I'll be sharing it on my socials. As soon as she puts it up, it'll be going up onto my socials, because I think it shows a lot. The thoroughbreds do it very, very well, where they show the strappers when they the horses move on. I probably get a little bit frustrated with them because they showcase the ones that get $1 million and plus, and the people in tears. I don't think it matters. I think if they sell one for 10,000, I'm sure the people that have looked after them such a long period of time are sad to see them go.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep, definitely.
That's very, very key. Right, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about each of the yearlings in a different way. We're going to have the pedigrees there. I'm going to highlight some parts of the pedigrees if you like, but effectively I'm going to overlay the videos that we've already done about these yearlings, and Jamie's just going to try and show some different sides of these horses, because you can read the pedigrees all day for yourself. You can come to your own conclusions. You can say Paul Campbell's a dill or he's not, but you can come to your own conclusions. But Jamie's just going to give a little bit of an insight, just some different sides of what some of these horses have been able to do, I suppose, in the period, and what they've been doing since we took the videos and the lead up, so people are aware of them, and how they've progressed. So we'll start off with lot 138, and Lazarus will say in there before that just the injection, what he's done to the catalogue, and the changes with that. He's got the Bettors Delight, he's got the Christian Callum, which brings in the pocket. Something really, really unique to the catalogue. But then you also said about the types and the videos that you've seen on some of the types. He's really injected something really different, hasn't he?
Yeah, he definitely has. And like I said to you before, it's not just our horses that we're presenting by Lazarus. We've got 3 going to the sale that I'm really impressed with. But I've seen other Lazaruses at other studs, and they all have the same sort of characteristics about them as ours do, and I'm really happy with them. So.
Yeah, it's very, very keen. This little colt, he really set the standard. He's going to set the standard for your sale. I mean, he's going to be that first one, and it'll be a bit of a barometer for you guys to see how things are going to work.
Yep.
I'll tell you now, doing the videos, he set it for us because he was just a professional little fella to deal with, wasn't he?
Yeah, yep, he absolutely was. And he's so laid back, and he takes everything in his stride. While still being a colt, you don't get any problems with him whatsoever. I really like him. So
you excited about him going through the ring?
Yeah, he's got a really good attitude about him, this horse, and he's the first colt that the mare's produced. And she didn't race due to an inoperable wind issue, but reports were that she had plenty of ability, and I think she's a good broodmare prospect going forward.
It's a very interesting with your draft of yearlings. My Double Dream, she's the mother of Rock 2 Times Better.
Yep.
The last one you're offering up is actually out of her as well. So it's a family that Bruce is keen on, and he's keen to get them out there and get people to be able to purchase them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Rightio, lot number 146, the second of your draft going through, is out of the USA mare Rock Around Sue. One thing the draft of yours have, some of these mares have some pretty impressive times. I think there's a 149 next to one of these mares as its fastest times. There's some real speed injections with some of these mares, isn't there?
Yeah, and that's starting to really do their job well. Those American mares having their second foals. It's taken them a little while to warm up to things in Australia and the farm and things like that, but they've really came back with their A game this year, and I'm really impressed with the job that they've done with their second lot of foals.
This mare's already had the one foal, Better Roll on. It's a winner at 2. It's now 3 years of age, but it always gives people a bit of confidence, and he was a lovely colt. He was an easy colt to deal with, and he had a bit of look at me about him, didn't he?
He did. I quite liked him also last year, but yeah, he seems like he's got probably a pretty good future himself. So.
And we spoke before about one of Bruce's monarchies. He's got a horse for everyone. Lot 155. You said to me there before that you're very keen on this one. You reckon he's a bit of a sneaky one, something that people should look at for a bit of value. This horse, Rock and Roll Heaven out of Sheez the Barmaid. Yeah,
Sheez the Barmaid has had pretty limited opportunities with only the 2 foals for 2 winners, but as we spoke about before, that they weren't just that they won one race, they were multiple winners. But this is probably a horse that's going to fly under the radar a little bit. He's definitely always been the underdog of my draft, but I could stand him with our most commercially bred colts, and he would not look out of place.
It's interesting you say that because from doing the videos, I just saw just a lovely colt and all the rest. So yeah, I tend to agree. I didn't think anything less of him, and it's a lovely family. Like the mare's had 2 winners, both those 140,000 in stakes. Like they're not just won race; they won multiple races.
Yeah,
good
that's
races.
right.
So, and then there's only 2 dams on the family.
Yeah.
So another key component of it. Lot 165. When I arrived here today, I walked in and this was the first horse I've seen. He's probably the only horse, in fairness, that I did go and see. But I was like, wow, what's this? I liked him when I'd done the videos. I liked him even more when I went and had a look at him, this Captain Treacherous out of the Baggy Green. Yeah,
he's been a little bit of a quiet achiever. We forget about him a little bit, to be honest. And he's taken a little while to blossom and warm up into himself and find his place and find his personality. But he really has blossomed at the right time. So,
from my point of view, he was probably the favourite that I videoed. Not because I said, yep, he's a sale topper, or he's not. There was just, I don't know, I just liked him. He was just a bit of fun, and there was something about him. I know when I was editing him up, he still made a grin to me face as well. He's got a little bit of spunk or personality about him, hasn't he? He's got a little bit of something else going there. Sunbeat Somewhere, sire of Captain Treacherous. It's also the sire of Downbytheseaside, and they were incredibly well sought after last year in New Zealand and in Australia. They were very, very popular, and I'm sure they're going to be popular again this year. This one is out of a bit of a babe, a mare who had actually won 10 races and $80,000 in stakes herself. I really like this colt. He's interesting because he's the first foal that I've bred out a bit of a babe since I've been at the farm, so it's a little bit hard to get a gauge on if he's the nicest type that she's produced out of the 2, but I certainly
he knows he packs the goods, but he's a very humble sort of a horse, and yeah, I quite like him.
Is there a reason why there's been such a gap? Like the last one was 2016. Is there a bit of a gap between that?
Yeah, she's had some foaling issues. She lost her foal last year. It got displaced during birth, but and she happened to lose it. But yeah, she's been a little bit difficult. So
yeah, well, it's a good sign that Bruce is keen on her, because you know, like, he's still going, and that's 5 years later. So yeah, it's a no. I think, you know, that says a lot. And the other horse that won, Swanburn Spunk, is by Some Beach Somewhere. This is by a son of Some Beach Somewhere. So it's a winning formula anyway, and you know that part definitely works. 182. I'm not sure how many we got through, up to about number 6 or so. This one, I said before about fast times, this is out of Carol's Ideal, a mare that went 150, the USA mare. This is her second foal, this colt by Art Major. Really interesting family because of that USA straight alongside it. She was a USA performed horse, and brings that breeding, you know, here to Australia.
Yeah, very good mare, and she's a very nice mare to have here on the farm, but he's probably just another example of how these second foaling mares have really turned the corner. And for me, our yearlings, they're just as much to do with the way that the mares are raising them as they are for what we do with them. But she's done a really good job with this one.
Does it take a little while for the American mares to acclimatise, you think, and get used to the way we do things as well?
I found with our American mares that they take a little bit to associate with the herd, and I found that they didn't know what big open spaces were and things like that, and they struggled a little bit with the heat and all that. But yeah, they sort of disassociate themselves for a little while from the herds, and I think that goes a long way to how they raise their foals. Whereas this year they've mingled in with their herds really well and socialised their foals really well all year. So
it's actually a funny thing. It's different in America. They definitely don't have them out in big paddocks or in paddocks a lot. So it's quite a unique way. But then you've got other farms of Texas and that just seem like they've got rolling hills and big paddocks.
Yeah.
So it probably depends on where you get the horses from. But this horse is a lovely colt. He's going to be very, very, I suppose a lot of people are going to want to have a good look at him as he's on sale day and they're parading.
He actually, we actually gelded him in December.
Right, that's good addition.
Yeah.
So yeah. Yep. Well, there was a reason?
It was just a little bit of a handful. He probably had done him a lot of justice being gelded, put it that way. He's a much nicer horse now, a bit more switched on. He was just probably a little bit too smart for his own good.
No, and that's the idea, that's the reason why. So people can be watching, you're going to get a lot of people come and say, oh, why is he gelding, but that's the reason, is just he was getting too cheeky by the sounds.
Yep.
Yeah,
exactly.
Just a bit of a handful. Lazarus Catapult, another American mare that went 153 and 8 herself. She's had 5 foals, 4 have raced, 3 of those have won, 2 of those have gone 155 themselves. This is just a cracking family, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. Yep.
Keen on this bloke? I
am, yeah. He's a big boy. But unlike her previous foals, he's probably just got that little bit more athleticness about him, and he's a bit more masculine than the last few foals that we've had out of her. They were a bit more heavy set, but I really like this bloke, yeah.
And being by Lazarus, I said it's just a unique combination. Got Bettors Delight over in Art's Place. A mare that went 153 herself, but as also, as I said, she's left 2 foals already in 155. So you're getting a high speed horse with a lot of, with a very, very good cross going through that. And I'm just looking there. One of those is definitely a Bettors Delight. The other one was a Some Beach Somewhere. So Slingshot was by Bettors Delight. Lazarus being by Bettors Delight. So you got that same cross again. So it's a proven cross. It works.
Yeah, absolutely.
220 is our next one. I hopefully haven't missed any because I'll get told off when I get home. All of Ballarat will be sitting up looking at this one, and I don't really have to sell this mare too hard, Golden Gate Tina, because you just mentioned Beach Gardens, but I'm sure there's been plenty of interest, plenty of people wanting to get this one out already, and I would imagine once you get to the sales complex they'll be even more keener.
He's, to be honest, he's probably the closest thing that we've had to Beach Garden herself. I imagine Beach Garden as a yearling would look very similar to this bloke. It's got a bit of a unique personality about him, this horse. He's got a lot to read about him. He sort of takes in things a bit different to the other colts. He's a bit of a overthinker, and but yeah, there's a lot to like about him.
You like the way that he thinks about things by looks? Because you
I
had a smirk and then you're like, how am I going to explain this the right way?
It's hard to explain. But I have a little bit of a soft spot for him because he's a little bit different.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I must say, Major, the last one, like he's an exciting horse. It looks like a horse because he's the one with Jeff Webster's now turned 3. And he looked like, when you see him, I saw him once in person, but he just looked like the sort of horse that he's got 3-year-old and 4-year-old, a little bit like Beach Garden.
Yeah.
The longer they race, the better they're going to get. So it's a family that's one's proven, but just gets better and better.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a little bit of an interesting one. A filly we have now so people want to get in the game. People probably sit there and they watch Bruce, and you know I was fortunate enough to do an interview with Bruce for Breed to Succeed about his philosophies and the likes, and we've had a couple of chats here, you and I, and all the rest. But effectively, his mantra is, buy quality horses and breeding, and start off a breeding empire. If you want to start getting into breeding and the likes, here's a perfect cross. Like there's a Captain Treacherous over a Bettors Delight. It's got Live or Die in the family as well, but it's got a proven race-winning, quality mare. Mitchell's a 2-year-old of the year, 3-year-old of the year. She was Elect to Live, so Gotta Go Elect to Bet is out of her. Won 9 races and $66,000, and this is a second foal. The first was a Seaside, which was last year. So it's an exciting family. But as far as a filly goes, from the breeding point of view, when you put this mare to stud, hopefully they've got a successful racing career. But it's got the double-edged sword, hasn't it? Yeah,
absolutely. Like you say, anyone that's looking to get into breeding, this is a beautiful little filly to get into.
Yeah, nice filly.
Yeah, she is a nice filly. She's got a little bit of self-entitlement about her, but she's a little bit of a princess, but I really like her. Yeah,
I'm not going to go there. I'll get myself into trouble. We've got to run on the fillies now. If you want to buy an Australian Pacing Gold winner, you probably need to follow a little bit of the line of getting ones that that have already done that, and that's what you get here with lot number 229, because you go back to Sister Dancer, Royal Verdict. He won the Australian Pacing Gold. He'll probably tell me 2007, so he's about 2009. He actually was winner of the Australian Pacing Gold, but out of the quality race winning mare, Group 1 winning mare in Hexham Heartbeat.
Yeah. We call her Plain Jane because she missed out on the Sweet Lou Bling.
That's the only reason why.
Cool. But this filly, she's a really in-your-face sort of filly, loves attention, and she will absolutely do anything for your attention. I really like her. She looks just like Hexham Heartbeat, to be honest. She's a dead ringer. And
let's be honest, Hexham Heartbeat, she was never, even on the racetrack, she was never a wow, look at me sort of horse.
Yeah.
You just looked at her going across the line first and you're like, damn it, I wish I had her sort of thing, wasn't she? She was that sort of horse.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And the way Sweet Lou's are going, I mean, we're here in Ballarat, and doesn't matter if we're in Bendigo or Shepparton, but Spirit of St Louis, like he's showing what the Sweet Lou's can do, but they're winning all over the place. I think there's already something like 7 or 9 2-year-olds qualified this year. He's very, very popular. He's incredibly popular in America, and Woodland Stud, who I have a great association with, but so do you guys, they're incredibly keen on him as a horse of the future.
Yeah.
You've got the filly here as well, so you've got that double-edged sword with the Sweet Lou as well over a race-winning Group 1 race-winning mare. So again, start off with a filly in your breeding empire. This is one of those fillies you need to look at, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I think the Sweet Lou, possibly put the legginess in her, because Hexham Heartbeat, she was a large race mare, but this filly is a lot more athletic.
The one thing I will say too with Spirit of St. Lou, he's pretty plain Jane himself, so don't worry about the no bling. I mean, Sweet Lou can throw real good bling on him, there's no worries there, but he throws plenty to the plain, but that doesn't mean they can't run at all. There's no rhyme or reason for that. I think people just like the bling, they look pretty good.
I've been really excited about getting my Sweet Lou's on the ground, because what am I going to get, a blaze or a big nice white sock or something, and I've had nothing.
Of course, his catchphrases, Woodland put a bit of a catchphrase to them. I do reckon the Seaside one's the best one, catch the next wave. I like that hashtag catch the next wave for him, but yeah, he's the great white blaze, and there's a reason for it, so he is a little bit of a dude. We go from one Woodlands horse to another one, which I'm not going to rave on about, Bettors Delight. He sells himself. This colt we probably don't have to do a lot of talking about him, and there's just nothing but black type all the way through the family. But what sort of a colt is he around the place, and how has he been to deal and get ready for the sale?
Yeah, he's his mother's son all over. He's probably keeps to himself a little bit more than some of the other colts. And when I say that, he's probably just quite content with his own company, to be honest. Like, he thinks he's pretty good, he knows he's pretty good, and he sort of doesn't go out of his way to prove anything.
Yep. You said before they all go out in paddocks of 6. He's still going out in the paddocks. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's key, because a lot of people would look at this horse and they'd be saying, "Oh, I'll keep him in a yard on his own," but effectively he's still running with the mob, and nothing's changed for you guys.
No.
And that's cool. We've got Spectacular, Idyllic, who's just an excitement machine. I think they stopped on him again just recently, Emma and Clayton, but he's still there ready to come back into work. It's a current family, and it's a superstar family that's just got so much to offer, hasn't it?
Yeah, he's really classy, that colt. I really like him. Yeah.
You're keen on him?
Yeah, pretty keen on him.
And there will be a lot of people wanting to have a look at him and the like. So, if you're going to get to Oakland's Junction, if he's one of those horses you want to get on the list, it might be worth giving yourself a bit more time, because he's going to be reasonably popular, you would imagine, getting him in and out of the yard. Yeah.
I kind of stress from our perspective that, if you're interested in a colt like that may be popular, that it's important to try and get in on the earlier days, on the Friday and the Saturday. Things get a bit busy on the Sunday, and we don't want to be pulling him in and out too many times.
Just on that, we've still got 2 lots to highlight, and we will. But when will you be arriving at Oakland's Junction?
We're arriving Friday morning. The truck picks them up at 7:30, so we'll be down there fairly early on the Friday.
Yeah, which is key, because there'll be a lot of people. It's a big race night the next night at Melbourne, so a lot of people will be focusing on that, so it won't be as easy, especially for some of those trainers. So maybe a late Friday afternoon, get down there and take their time, get around, and give themselves a bit of time to make sure they can check them out.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you'll be there, full staff will be there?
Yeah, we'll have all the staff there ready to go. You
looked at your page just, and I'm sure we've only got 2 to go, have we?
No, we don't, and I think we missed one.
Did we? You'll have to send me back in a minute, that's fine. Lot 260 is by Lazarus out of Indigenous Charm. Insidious Charm, sorry. She's only had the 1 foal. There's a colt by Rock and Roll Hanover. The rest of the family, it's just a cracking family. One mare basically to the page, isn't it? Yeah, it is I don't think the family probably needs any introductions. But once again, he's by Lazarus, and I'm quite happy with him. To be honest, him and I have had a bit of a love-hate relationship from day one. He's sort of like having your kid in the supermarket in the lolly section, and you have to tell him 1,000 times, no, he can't have it. He's such a character. He's a small horse with a great big attitude. I love the love-hate. Do you love him or hate him, or is it just a little bit of, we've got to have a fight and then it's all good? Yeah,
he can be a little bit. He's a cheeky little bugger, I'll put it that way.
That won't hurt. I think he's someone else's favourite, isn't he?
He's Paul's favourite,
yeah. A rap for him, isn't he?
Yeah, he's Paul's favourite. He's Paul's naughty child.
There was only one video that Paul held a horse, and that was him. So he was very, very keen. And the last of your fillies, I can definitely say that, because apparently I've missed one. We're going to go back to that in a minute. Is lot number 280, and this is, again, we said there before about My Double Dream. The first one is out of a daughter of My Double Dream. This is actually out of her by Rock and Roll Heaven, this filly, but again, Bruce is keen on this whole family, isn't he?
Yeah, he's always keen, been keen on this family. You're just waiting for, she's going to leave a really good one, and we just hope that this one might be it. But yeah, she's a nice filly. She doesn't let anything get in the way of her and her next feed, but she's a nice filly.
From memory, because we've done them in video order, so I can't remember quite a few of them going through, but she was actually very good to video. She was very good to work with for us. She was towards the end, long day for us, and you can get a bit tired on them sometimes, and she just came in and just got the job done, didn't she? She's a real workhorse, she's a real workhorse. She's ready to go. Yeah, like I said, people might say to me, how did this one trot up, and that, don't ask me because I can't remember, but there is, I can say there's 3 here I remember. The first one, the last one, And the baggy green, I will say, I don't know why, it was just something about that one. Which one did I forget?
You missed 2, I think.
Did I really?
Yeah, you missed the Heaven's Trend.
Yes, I did.
Bettors Delight, and you've missed the first foal out of Intrusive by Always Be Mickey.
Which I just opened up that one. So we'll go to that one now, which is lot number 253. The wind's playing havoc with me, Bruce. If you're wondering what it actually is, yeah, so here, this is, and you're right, and I shouldn't have missed this one in any way, but first foal out of Intrusive, who's out of Intrude. It's just a ripping family. And where this family, the thing, when you look at the pedigrees, and I say you don't have to recite from top to bottom, you get some families that are 2-year-olds or the likes, some that are colts, some that are fillies. This family is just everything, high class horses, good bread and butter horses that would knock up $100,000. It's just a cracking family to be a part of. They win for everyone, Glen Douglas to Tompkins, New South Wales, everywhere. It just ticks all the boxes, this family, doesn't it?
It does, it really does. And the Always Be Mickey, I think he's really important, and he's very popular, and he's really has stamped this horse really nice. Yeah,
the Mickeys are flying both in America and in Australia. I'm sure there'll be plenty of West Australians that are very, very keen on the Mickeys. And he's another one that will be pretty keen to get out of the box a lot of the time. So again, give yourself plenty of time and make sure of it. He's a nice colt to deal with.
He is a nice colt. The best way to describe him is probably he's an old gelding in a yearling's body, to be honest. He's a very nice colt.
All right, you got to help me. What was the other one? Where was Heaven's Trend? What number? Because I'm in all sorts of trouble. Bruce is going to tell me off for this. He's going to go, fair dinkum. What sort of a professional is he? I can't. I've got to find the lot number. I've got them all earmarked, but I just can't get it. What I'm going to do, I'm actually going to edit this for 1 sec and find him. Right, I did do a little edit there. I don't do too many edits, but I did just do one little one there, lot number 223, and I did have it ear tagged and the rest, and rightfully so too, because again, a Bettors Delight colt out of a rock and roll mare, Heaven's Trend. She went 152-1 herself, but amassed $385,000 in stakes. Like, that sells itself, doesn't it?
Yep. Yeah, she was a very good filly.
She's only had 2 previous foals. One of those has already won in Heavenly Sign, and then there was a 2019 colt by Captain Treacherous. You enjoy this bloke? Like, he's a nice colt to be around?
I do, yeah. He's probably a spitting image of his mum, to be honest, and he's quite possibly the nicest type that she's had so far. So. Yep,
and you're keen on him. I can't ask you who's your favourite or who's your pick, and you sort of alluded there before. I think that was the Sheez, the Barmaid. You sort of like it as one of those ones that people don't know.
Yep.
But as I said, Bruce's saying is that there is we breed for everyone. I've actually lost it.
We have a yearling for everyone.
Yep. A yearling for everyone. I wasn't far off, and that. You're pretty comfortable that that's the case here with this sale. Like, I mean, you've got a couple, that are going to be very, very keenly sought after, but you've got something for everyone, and you encourage people to come and make sure they check out your whole draft. Yeah, absolutely. I think we meet the market very well this year, and we've got some nice stock. And as I alluded to before, there's probably the nicest bunch of horses that we've presented, as far as we've done a lot of work with our farrier and corrected conformation, and you won't find a horse in our draft this year that has any conformation issues. We've worked with nutritionalists from High Gain all year round, so we've met everything that we feel is important for the horse's future, and yeah, I'm really excited to present these horses. Yep, as Jamie said there before, she's going to be there Friday morning, but so don't rock up at 12 o'clock and expect her to go, because they'll be still getting up. But late Friday afternoon would probably be one of those opportune times if you're racing on the Saturday night. Otherwise, get there Saturday and take all day. Yep, exactly. Yep. And get around it. Unfortunately, I won't be there. I'm going to be at Tamworth at a camp draft of all things, but I'm going to be having. Sounds funny that, but yeah. I'll definitely be keeping an eye on it, and I might even do a remote cross if people want to. Still, like, we've got the best part of a week. You're happy for people to come and do on-farm inspections if they're in the area? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're sort of, to be honest, we're sort of just treading water now until next Friday with our yearlings. There's not too much more that we can do with them other than keeping them safe and making sure that they're all okay. So we've got plenty of time available next week for you to come to the farm, which I highly suggest that. It's good to see them in their own environment too. Oh yeah, and it's one of those things. And like I keep saying, I did a podcast with Clayton Tonkin, and he found Ideal for Real. That was him, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. Here pretty much out of the last sale when he came into Bruce's and just kept coming and eventually saw him and really liked him. And I think it's key. And it's one thing that I've noticed this year through going to a lot of farms, looking at a lot of yearlings 2 and 3 times. You just see how they progress and you just sort of go, wow, it's sort of key. So I think come and see them here, go and see them at the sales. You
yep.
know, like it's a good way to see them a couple of times. And then you think about them, you see them, you tick them, you go back, you think about them again, you tick them again.
Yeah.
And then you just got to convince the other half or whoever else is with you of what you want to do. Jamie, thank you. Really enjoyed it. It's not going to be the last time because we've got another sale about
yep.
April. So we've got 5 more lots there to promote. We'll get about those in April and the likes. But thank you, very much for your time, allowing me to do your videos and having a bit of fun. Hopefully people have found this enjoyable and more importantly, hopefully it encourages people to go and have a look at the draft, talk to Jamie, talk to Bruce. And I will say, don't be scared of Bruce because he's actually quite a talkable person. He's got great insight as to why he does a lot of his yearlings, doesn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
And you can find out a lot more. Jamie, thank you very much. Good luck at the sales.
Thank you.